Tani kam derin që të ftoj përpara jush të nderuarin shkëlqësinë e tij ish kongresistin e Kongresin Amerikan, që mendoj se biografinë e tij e keni të njohur të gjithë tani, Zotri DioGuardi.
Thank you so much, Anton. I am so pleased to be here, and I have to make my remarks short because my name has been mentioned so many times, it's just hard to believe. I really am proud that you could put this many people in the room. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, okay? Now, are you proud to be American? Yeah. Are you proud to be Albanian? Yeah. So am I. Unë jam krenat që jam shqiptaro Amerikan. And I am so pleased to be here. I could say it in Albanian. Unë jam lumtë shumë që jam me ju sot. Thank you. Faleminderit shumë. Now, you have seen so much, and I'm not going to now repeat so many things that you've seen. And Gandhi, thank you so much for that beautiful film. Where did Gandhi go? It's wonderful that he did such a good job. Thank you so much. And I know the hard work it takes to do that. Now, I got a letter yesterday when the people in Katundi, Greci, my father's hometown, found out about this. They sent me an email. And guess what they are doing today and tomorrow? Today is Shirley's birthday, tomorrow the day after. They have a conference in Greci with the ambassador from Albania to Italy and with the mayor of Greci. Her name is Donatella Martino. She speaks perfect Albanian because when Mother Teresa was canonized or beatified, 2003, I took the Albanians that came with me to Rome to Katundi, Greci. It's only 2 hours from Rome, because it's really by Naples. People think, oh, must be in Calabria, must be 5, 6. No, there are 51 Albanian-speaking villages in Italy today. 51 where they still speak Albanian today, and they haven't gone to Albania. They kept the language alive. Isn't that beautiful? And what do you think the conference is today? It is to talk about, and they had the Minister of Education from Italy to talk about how they can promote the use of the Albanian language in southern Italy and to promote tourism between Italy and Albania. This is happening for 2 days in Katundi, Greci. Isn't that beautiful? These are people, 500 years ago, my father's people fled, 600 years. The Ottoman Turks. Do you know how close Italy is to Albania? Look at the map, 40 miles, closer than Haiti and Cuba are to the United States and Key West. That's how close. That's why you have tens of thousands of Albanians who came to the Kingdom of Naples. I know there's some Italians in the audience here, and we have to remember, Italy wasn't a state until 1861. And two people played a very key role, Garibaldi and Crespi. Crespi was totally Arbrecht, two Albanian parents. And Garibaldi, they say, and it's in the library, we're going to find it, one parent was Arbrecht. So the Albanians did a lot to help unite all those city-states in Italy into a country. We have to be pleased. And let me tell you, language is important. If you want to destroy a people, the first thing you do is take away their language. That's like more important than the flag, because that's what keeps the culture alive. And the Ottoman Turks tried to do that for 425 years. The Albanians were under the boot of the Ottoman Turks. And who kept the language alive in Italy? These beautiful priests, the Franciscan monks. They wrote the language down. They kept it alive for 500 years. So my father could come here in 1929 with no education, but he spoke Albanian and he spoke Italian. Isn't that beautiful? And if he didn't speak Albanian, you wouldn't know that I had Gjak Shqiptar. And what a beautiful accident it was that on my first birthday party as a congressman, September 20th, 1985, I was 45. Now I'm 75. It's 30 years later. My father came to that. He was proud, of course, his oldest child. I have a brother and sister, but I'm the oldest. And you saw me pushing the push cart. We had a family business in the Bronx, and I didn't know anything else but work. Ever since I was a kid, I had to do my share with my dad and mom, who stood on their feet sometimes 12, 13, 14 hours a day. So I was raised with this great Albanian discipline. You have it. That's why so many people who are Albanians succeed. You can put Albanians anywhere and they find a way to make a living. They don't need someone to give them a job. I've seen them. I've seen in Zagreb, the Kaczynari family with the great jewelry companies. I went to Prizren and saw the bakeries. I go down to Macedonia and I see the Macedonian Albanians, how hard they work in contracting in New York. And I see the ones from Kosovo and Albania. They own all the pizzerias now in New York, in Manhattan. It's amazing. All the Italian restaurants, I shouldn't say all, many are now owned by Albanians. Very prominent, beautiful restaurants in Manhattan. And sometimes I don't even know they're owned by Albanian, but when I walk in the door, they recognize me. And right away they come out. It's a beautiful thing. You have to be proud that you're Albanian. Think about, yeah, clap, this is important. Clap for you, not for me. Think about what your people have suffered. Don't go back 2,000 years with the Romans. Only go back 600 years with the Ottoman Turks. Occupation for 425 years, where they tried to take away the language. They tried to change religions. They did everything possible, like ISIS today, believe it or not. We can't forget history because it's happening again. But then what happens after that? They come out, and because the Slavs and the Greeks got out of the Ottoman Empire, Greece in 1846, and then Serbia in 1860, they poisoned the people in Europe with bad stories about the Albanians, because the Albanians were the most successful part of the Ottoman Empire, and they were jealous. So they said lies to the French, to the Russians, to the English. Oh, these Albanians, they're just like us. They're Slavs. They don't deserve a separate state. Thank God for President Woodrow Wilson, who knew that the Albanians were a separate people, and he had to make the compromise and created the state of Albania. 1919. Don't forget, I'm going to give you your history when Ismail Chamali raised that flag. He raised the flag in 1912 when the Ottoman Empire was collapsing because of corruption and everything else. He raised it on all the Albanian people, 4 vilayets. Monastir, Skodra, you know the 4 vilayets, but they didn't accept it. Until 1919, there wasn't sure there was going to be an Albanian state until the President of the United States said, no, there's got to be at least a compromise, and at least half the Albanian people were put in Albania. And in 1921, when they created a new state called Yugoslavia, which doesn't exist anymore, right? Isn't that nice? Okay. But in those days, they put half the Albanians in there, and they became part of the republics of Montenegro, Macedonia. Serbia had Preševa. In fact, they didn't have Preševa. The Serbs, I don't know whether you know this, took Preševa in 1956. And we're going to try to get Preševa back in Kosovo where it belongs, because they're not treating the Albanian people the right way. They're being they have the worst treatment of any group in Europe today, and there's 90% unemployment. They don't let the books in Albanian, and they're telling the world that they're acting like Democrats and they should be part of the European Union. No, over my dead body will they become part of the European Union when they're treating Albanians like that. So God, I think, is going to be good to me and to you, because my mother lived till she was 94. So that means I have 20 more years to work. All right? And I'm going to try to do that job. Now, for my Italian friends here, and language, because my father came to that party in 1985. My finance chairman was an Irishman, Bill Casson. He was a lawyer who hired many Albanians to work in his contracting. He used to renovate apartments. And here's my father, 1 year before he died, speaking to his sister, Ida, in Katuncha, they call it. It's the Arbres language. And these Albanians from Kosovo heard him. They come running up to me, and they say, "We thought you were Italian. Your father's speaking Albanian." Well, I said, "I know we have this subculture." I wasn't entirely sure of the history because my parents had no education. And my father couldn't tell me the history of the Albanians in Italy and before. But you know who told me? You did. Once you found out that my family spoke Albanian, you came to my house. You came to my office in Washington, my office in New York. You gave me books. You gave me letters. You educated me about the history of the Albanian people. And I was so impressed that I said, you know, I now have a new mission in life. And my staff would tell me, "Joe, you're in a district that has 3 times more Democrats than Republicans. You're going to lose. You need every Italian vote, because you got too many people who are not going to vote for you." My vote was an accident. I only won on election day. Nobody thought I could win. But think about that. But you know what I told the staff? I said, "I'm Italian and I'm Albanian. The Italians don't need me. All they have to do is buy a ticket and go traveling back to Italy and have fun. The Albanians are being killed left and right. We got to spend the time to help these poor people because nobody is speaking for them." In 1985, nobody in Congress knew the word Kosovo. Not Bob Dole, one person out of 535, 100 senators, 435 congressmen, only Tom Lantos, because he was born in Hungary, he knew the history of the Albanian people. And God sent him to us, a beautiful Jewish man who escaped the Holocaust. So I want to let you know that, all right? And his dream was to go to Albania. I gave him his dream. He used to tell me, "Joe, everybody's talking about you. One day maybe you're going to go to Albania. I've traveled all over the world, but I want to go to Albania. Will you take me?" Thank God I didn't go without him. Ramiz Aliyah was called. Bashkin Pataka in the mission in New York kept saying, "No, they want to honor you. Don't bring anybody else." I said, "I can't. I have to bring Congressman Lantos." Thank God I did, because then Ramiz Aliyah was so nervous because Lantos was the head of the Human Rights Caucus in Congress. Imagine Albania was like North Korea. No human rights. Many people in jail. But I brought him. And you know what Ramiz Aliyah did? He took a file from the communist archives nobody ever saw. It was this thick. He gave it to Lantos. Lantos gave it to me. And I'm going through this file and I'm seeing all different languages, photos, letters. And then I said to Lantos, I said, "You know what this is? These are the Jews that were saved in World War II by the Albanians, and they've been writing for the last 45 years, but the communists put it in the file. They never let the Jews connect with the people that saved them." But that file I sent to Yad Vashem. Nobody was given any reward. We're up to 69, Ambassador. 69 righteous among Gentiles, I think it's called. And now the name's up, the Albanians. There should be 2,069. But the rules are too tough. Israel controls Yad Vashem. They say we need live people as witnesses. I said, how could you have live people when the communists created 45 years where they couldn't even talk to the people who rescued them? So I'm lobbying Israel right now to change that rule. Okay? It's important. Okay. Now, for my Italian friends and my Albanian friends, you know, the Albanian language is alive and well in Italy in ways you don't know. I'm learning a lot about history because we're doing a motion picture right now. You're going to see it in 2 years. Shirley and I have worked 5 years on a picture of George Castriati. Why? Not just to make money. It's going to cost a lot of money, $35 million, to tell the world the history of the Albanian people because they saved Europe from the Ottoman Turks. Without George Castriati and without the armies, all of Europe would be Islamicized. Thank God they tried to get it to Italy and they couldn't. But when they tried to get into Italy, guess what the Albanians had done who escaped before? They built a huge fort, a castle right on the eastern shore facing Albania, near Otranto. And it was called the Albanian Fort, Albanian Castle. And they repeated it so many times. You know what that word is today? 2 Albanian words, Kalaya Arbria, became Calabria. When you say Calabria, you're talking 2 Albanian words, Kalaya Arbria. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. I can tell you so many other things, but I want you to enjoy tonight. But you don't know how good this makes me feel. I wish my father was alive today and my mother to see it. But I think the important thing is that you're alive, I'm alive, we're alive, and we got to finish the job that we started in Congress with your help when I got there in 1985. God bless you all. Go home and be proud who you are. But our job is not finished. Don't go to sleep. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. DioGuardi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ju lutem një dorë për kitje.